on life with anxiety. So whoever watched the first video, hope you guys enjoyed it and you know try to understand anxiety from my perspective. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about like misconceptions about anxiety, at least from my point of view. People think anxiety as it being, you know, it's looked upon in a certain way. Anxiety isn't always how people imagine it to be. So this is just my experience. Everyone has different experience with it, but this I'm just gonna discuss to you guys my experience of anxiety and um how I feel other people think about it and how they may make mistakes. Maybe they don't want to, but so yeah, that's basically what the video is gonna be about, the misconceptions about anxiety. Firstly, anxiety isn't only about being nervous. It's a lot more to that. You don't just feel nervous before, like let's say an oral presentation, you have to talk in front of people. It's not just that. um Anxiety can happen randomly. So I can be sitting in class and maybe I think about something, or you know the professor or teacher discusses something, and then I feel my heart starting to race, I'm sweating, um my chest tightens. Like, it can happen randomly at times. It's not just being nervous, nervous like, oh, I'm nervous to do the test, I'm nervous to talk in front of people. It's not just that. And anxiety, it could last all day. It can last in waves, basically. So like a few hours in a day I could feel really good, but then midday, for example, I can feel, I can start feeling my anxiety kick in, especially depending on where I am. If I'm out, like at school, for example, in the morning, maybe my anxiety is a bit more, I feel it more strongly than I do in midday. Depends, maybe because of my travel to school, being anxious about what can happen during the travel time. Yeah, so things like that. Walking into a building with a lot of people, like the moment I walk in, I just feel my heart racing. But then it calms down once I get into class and I'm talking to my friends, it calms down. So yeah, basically it's like constant mental noise. It's hard to explain, but basically, like, I feel it there. Like, I feel like it can cloud my judgment at times, or it can distract me from focusing on things because I just feel it there in my chest, or in my thoughts. Like, I just feel it. My heart's racing. I can tell that I'm really anxious, and sometimes I'm like, why am I being so anxious right now? Like, why is my body doing this to me right now? I'm in a safe environment. There's nothing, no one's out to get me. I'm not in a dangerous environment. So I can seem okay. Like, I may look quiet on the outside, but in the inside I'm like it's I'm not. Like, in the inside, it's like my body, I'm battling with my body, like, you know what I mean? Like, I am my body's going crazy inside, but I can seem fine outside. So people with anxiety can seem fine in public, but they can be struggling inside. So they can be smiling, they can seem happy, they smile, they can talk to their friends, they can seem, oh, all right. Like, you can't tell that something's wrong with them. I go to class, people with anxiety, they'll go to class, go to work, and they may seem fine. Look, they're able to go to class, they're able to go to work, nothing must be wrong with them. But inside is what's really wrong. Again, a lot of people with anxiety don't overtly express what they're going through. Like, you can't, most of the time you don't notice their symptoms, you won't notice anything, they may just seem fine. Like the person next to you in your class, they may be going through something, but you can't tell at that moment. People with anxiety, they may be overthinking, which I do often. I can be sitting in class and I'm just overthinking about something. Out of the blue, I'm just overthinking about maybe family matters, or friend situations, school issues. I can just be thinking about it, and I'm just overthinking. Or even a conversation, I'm overthinking a conversation that I had. It could have been days, it could have been weeks ago. I'm just overthinking about it, just like overthinking. And that distracts me from other things. I want to be focusing on my work, but it's difficult to do so when your anxiety blocks all that concentration and you're just focusing on what's happening inside of you, you know? Also, anxiety can be very exhausting. So anxiety takes a lot of mental energy out of you. Um, so when I've had, let's say, a really big social day, talking to people, especially new people, talking about myself, listening to others, it can be very exhausting. And I usually only feel it at the end of the day when I get home. Like when I get home, I feel drained, not physically and mentally, but not physically in the sense like, oh my god, I went like I know skiing or hiking for the day. It's a different type of exhaustion. It's more like it's a different type of exhaustion. People with anxiety, I'm sure, no, it's hard to explain, but it just, yeah, I just feel exhausted. Also, I also, replay conversations in my head at the end of the day, just because for me, people, with anxiety, they may like overthink something, or they may replay a conversation in their head because they think that that conversation maybe didn't go so smoothly or was embarrassing for them, even if it wasn't. But to them, they think it's embarrassing, or they think they embarrassed themselves. They said something they shouldn't have said. I go through that a lot, and it is tiring because I do it when I'm also in bed. Like I just overthink and overthink, and like it disrupts my sleep. It takes me a long time to fall asleep, whereas others, they just fall asleep right away, right? They just whoop. It's not a big issue for them, but for me, or for people who go through anxiety like I do, um yeah, you overthink a lot, and you do a lot of the overthinking, especially when you're more relaxed. Well, at least for me, when I'm relaxed and I'm like in bed or at home calm, that's when the overthinking starts. I guess when during the day, I'm more distracted, but if I'm like, in a relaxed state, that's when I start to overthink a lot, or replay situations, conversations in my head. I also um anticipate worst case scenarios in my head. um so it's like I try and prepare myself for the next day. So this happens, usually it usually happens when I'm at home, this before I'm about to do something, like go out, or when I'm about to go to sleep. I anticipate the worst possible scenario that could happen to me if I do A or if I do B. That I do often because I want to prepare myself for the worst. Like I don't expect positive things, I expect negative, because I just want to prepare myself for what to expect, what could happen, because I don't want to just think, I know, like, oh, that's very pessimistic of you. It's just a way to protect myself, because I don't want to go in there, thinking that I'm fine, nothing will happen. I want to think that way, but it's difficult for me to do so, and for other people as well, I'm sure, who suffer from anxiety. In short, it's just very tiring. You feel mentally drained. Like you're just talking to people for a few hours in a day, and you come home exhausted. There's people who've gone to work. There's people, who've done a lot of physical activity in the day, but physical activity, yes, is tiring, but mental activity is also just as tiring. And people think that a lot of people have misconceptions that, oh, it's not tiring to talk to other people, but for some people, it is very exhausting. Like you put a smile on your face, you pretend that you're fine, that you don't want to seem shy or you know anxious in front of people, so you pull up your big girl pants and you just speak, you talk, you make conversations with people. But yeah, it is very difficult for people, like me. Very difficult, because I'm just in my head, I'm thinking, what am I going to say, what am I going to do, am I embarrass myself? That just keeps going on in my head. I mentioned before, nothing always bad is happening. I may feel anxious, but again, nothing is happening. It's like my body is protecting me from something that's not there, or that not gonna, or that hasn't happened yet. And it's like it thinks I can protect myself, so it does it for me, which is, I wish it wasn't like that, because it should know I'm safe. If I'm at school, it shouldn't be worried, I'm safe. It's different if I was in a, it was like alone at night in a dark alley, obviously. But if I'm in a public area with people, in a school especially, my body should not feel any way anxious or feel like it needs to protect me. I think that's where I'm gonna stop here because I've said so much already, and I just want, I want to start off on a light load and just, tell you guys my experience with anxiety and the misconceptions people could have about it. That, it's just a regular nervousness about doing things that, everyone does, like I said before. But no, it's not just nervousness, it's a lot more than that. It's not just being afraid for a test or talking, it's a lot more than that. So, I'm still learning as well. I'm still learning about anxiety. I'm still learning the symptoms of how to manage it. It's not, it doesn't, you don't just figure it out in within days, weeks, months, even years. I've been battling with it for years, and I'm still haven't figured it out yet. I'm still, learning. I'm still growing. So, I hope everyone knows that it's okay. There's no rush. I'll keep sharing more and more stories. Um, of my anxiety and a lot of other topics as well, but slowly. I don't want to get into it so quickly because this again is still hard. It's not easy for me to talk about, but I would just want people to know that they're not alone, and that there's people out there, I'm sure, that you can talk to. you know uh Comment maybe your experiences if you want, anything like that, or maybe suggestions on other videos. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Again, any suggestions will be great. And yeah, take care.